Hello, everyone. My name is Kurt Bachman, and welcome back to The Ultimate Dish. Today, I have a very special guest joining me, Jennifer Relph, a dear friend, mom of four, and former bakery owner. Well, we'll hear soon. She's been doing a lot of stuff in the course of her life. But what we're really interested in is Selah Sweets, a home-based bakery right here in Colorado, where she created cupcakes, cookies, and scones and others for holidays, parties, corporate events, and city gatherings. But Selah Sweets was much, much more than just a bakery. And I love this. It was a mission-focused business where Jen chose a different organization every month to donate a portion of her proceeds to. Who does that? Giving back to her community, one baked good at a time. Jen believes that baking is the ultimate form of therapy, and for her, time in the kitchen is a tangible way to show love. She's passionate about family, believes there's nothing a baked good can't fix, and plenty of stories. She's got plenty of stories to share the realities of running a cottage food business from a home kitchen. So get ready for a warm, honest conversation about the joys, challenges, and navigating cottage food laws of home baking and why holidays are the busiest and most rewarding time for all home bakers. And there she is. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Good morning, Kirk. It's so strange to not see you on a baseball field.
It is strange indeed. But you are such a professional. Before I dive into everything, rumor has it that you've done stuff like this before. Tell me about Jack and the Beanstalk. And it's okay if you were 11 when that occurred. Yeah.
I was. I started doing theater super, super young, and I lived in Wichita, so I was able to do like a pre-Broadway show. And my first job ever was playing Jack and Jack and the Beanstalk at a dinner theater, and I just absolutely loved doing theater as a kid, and would probably do it now, but I'm too old.
Well, maybe this is the start. This is going to be our breakfast theater. I like
Perfect.
This. I like this a lot. So people will fairly quickly figure out that we've met, and it is really, really exciting to see you. And Joseph Henry was sort of mortified when I said, "Hey, guess who's on the show today?" Eli's mom, and he's like, "Dude, Dad, bro. That's so cringe. Why would you do that?"
So cringe. So
cringe. Hey, how'd the whole family survive the holidays?
You know what? We got really lucky this year. No one got sick. So
Yeah.
I'm going to count it as a win. But yeah, it was good, nice and relaxing. And I mean, the kids had an extra 2 days off.
What is, I'm going to compare it to us. So for our listening audience, our boys go to school together right down the street and they play baseball together. But what's a normal, I say normal day look like for you? And then I'll tell you what a normal day looks like for me.
It does depend on the day. I do have a part-time job. So if I'm at the part-time job, I'm at the church working. But if I'm not, again, it looks a little different. All of my kids are older, so they're all in school. So I just do all of the typical mom things. I actually start my day reading because I'm a big nerd.
Yeah, reading's good.
I read 100 books last year, so I'm
wow,
gonna keep it up.
So is that kind of like do you challenge yourself? Is that like a milestone? I'm going to get to 100 books.
Yep, absolutely. And I was
Who's your
able
favorite
to hit
author? What's your genre? What do you read?
Okay.
Anything?
So,
Here
yeah,
it comes.
I
Here it
read.
comes.
So some people don't consider this real reading, but I read a lot of like sci-fi and fantasy and thrillers, and they're not like self-help books or leadership books or anything that requires a lot of thinking. But I read for enjoyment.
So I'm very similar, except for not with the written word. I just stream it.
Yeah.
I love all that, right? Gretchen,
Yep.
my wife, Gretchen, she's a big reader. And, I think our household is very similar. I'm at the school a lot. But this morning, she's going to kill me for sharing all this. She does she does some really cool things in the community. And she also does a lot of cooking and baking and is a personal chef and things like that. But this morning, she had a really, really, really early gig. And, so I had to jump in and kind of drop Grayson off at school and stuff like that, which is all great. But the big challenge was on her way, she had she just assumed that she could just call Starbucks, swing by, grab the coffee for this catering event, right? And the app didn't work.
Oh,
Isn't it amazing how your life just stops when the app doesn't work? So she calls
yep.
and she's like, what do I do? What do I do? I've got a crazy idea, Gretchen. How about you call? How about you call? And she did. And this young man took great care of her. I love it. Hey, if you were standing in your kitchen right now,
Okay.
instead of in front of the camera, and the oven was preheating,
Mm.
what would you naturally start baking this morning without even thinking about it?
Probably scones. I love
Yeah,
making scones. They're so simple
that's a good answer. Yeah,
the way that I do it. They're
yeah.
super simple the way that I do it.
Are your scones sweeter or more on the savory side?
They're sweeter and they're softer.
Oh, that's the scone. That's the scone I like. That
Same.
Gretchen's are harder. The
Hmm.
kids love them. That's what's great about scones because the kids can just grab them off the table. Butter on
Yep.
top or no?
No, I my favorite scone is smoked ham and Gouda scone.
Oh, geez.
And so I
So
put a
are your
little
people bringing that by here, the studio?
done. Yep, they're on
Yeah,
their way right now.
get it over
Yeah.
here. Get it over here. Hey, I have to say, I think I know the answer to this. And again, we met each other through the local high school
Mhm.
baseball team over the last, 3 years now. Um, but I get to introduce you today in a whole different way, right? How does it feel to be on the other side of the microphone? You're usually the one keeping score, in charge of everything. But how's it feel to be over in that seat?
Oh, totally unnatural. And I'm going to try really hard not to be awkward today, but I make no
Oh, you're doing
promises.
great. You're doing great. We're talking about fun stuff that you enjoy.
It's
So
true.
let's talk about you. That's what this is all about. Let's talk about, and just so you know, the audience, outside of my immediate family, we do have a huge viewership, and a ton of our students tune into the podcast to get feedback from thought leaders like yourself about what they're thinking about and the whole cottage food business. Keep in
Hmm.
mind, we have thousands of online students who go to school with us cooking in the comfort of their own kitchen. And
Hmm.
many like to parlay that into a business. How do you do that? So that's, other than being a fantastic person, that's one of the reasons I thought it would be really, really fun to chat with you. So let's talk a little bit about Selah Sweets,
Great.
which you did out of your home here in Colorado. And what made you, first of all, decide? That's always the biggest thing. What motivated you to start the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have been baking for people forever. And I was baking for my friends, and they were like, I would buy this from you. Like, you don't have to always give it away for free. And I think the thing that stops people is the fear of the unknown. And I finally just said, yes, like, yes, I want to do this. I'm going to put in the effort and the work. And I had a great partner that I was able to work with, which also really helped. So I didn't have to do it all on my own. And we each brought our own strengths to the business. But really, it was just saying yes and just moving forward.
And was that something that was part of your upbringing, this love for sweets and the kitchen and bakery, or is this like something that you pursued later in life?
This is probably a later in life pursuing. I didn't grow up baking. I think the thing that I did the most were drop cookies
Yeah, yeah,
that are
yeah.
super simple that you
I
like
love a good
learn
drop
easy in high
cookie.
school. Yeah, why not? So this was a really later in life thing. Once I got married and had my own house, it was just easier to have my own kitchen.
So another great point, many of our students who go to school online choose that path a little bit later in life,
Hmm.
perhaps when they do have a home and a little bit more security, and they don't really want to relocate, so they just want to get cooking and get started in
Right.
their own kitchen. So it's really, really, really great feedback. You mentioned, Jen, that baking is therapy for you. I'd really like you to take us down the rabbit hole here. Um, and it's a tangible way, I think you said, to show love. What is it about baking for you anyway that feels therapeutic? One thing that really stands out about your company, Selah Sweets, is that it was mission focused. You chose a
Hmm.
different organization every month to donate. I mean, who does that? To donate a portion of your proceeds to? I absolutely love that. Is that therapeutic as well as the act of
Oh,
baking?
absolutely, absolutely. It's just nice to know that first of all, let me just say this was not my full-time job. So we were able to say, okay, this is something that we can give because we're in the financial place to do that. When you're starting a
Yeah, yeah.
business, you're not always able to give away a portion of your proceeds. So we were really lucky to start this and say, how can we be a blessing to different organizations around the local area doing something that we love. We just really loved baking. It really is therapy. I was diagnosed with a disorder at early in my adulthood, and it was just a really great opportunity to just calm the brain and truly focus on what I'm doing and have a great result at the end of it. It was like completely rewarding. And then you get to see the people that you give it to that, I mean, of course, I asked, how is it?
Yeah,
Uh,
there's
but you
that.
get to
Yeah.
like, right. But who doesn't love a baked good? And there's so many different types of baked goods, savory and sweet, and um, just so many different things that you can do with it that you're going to be able to please everyone, depending on what you make. So it's just,
I'm curious because it's a very, very interesting business model, super, super thoughtful. Were there specific organizations that were very obvious to, reach out to for that, or smaller organizations, larger, or was that just very serendipitous?
a little bit of both. So my friend, my business partner and I met at church, and I also work at a church. So that was a really easy connection point to be able to give back to the churches that we went to. We were also able to donate a lot of cookies to a local Christmas shop at a local church. And so that was super easy as well. And then we did a little bit of research as well, we did Hope House, which helps
Oh,
single moms in high school.
yeah.
And just like different, we were able to help a missions based Christian organization. And so we are really lucky that we had a lot of connections with a lot of nonprofits that we could just then help that month, which we're so, so grateful for.
That's wonderful. You specialized in many things, but cupcakes,
Hmm.
cookies, scones is what you talk a lot about. Those are super great choices for a home bakery, a cottage
Hmm.
business. How did you land on those specifics as your sort of flagship products, and what were some of the most popular flavors or
Yeah.
items that people kept asking for?
Yeah. I think they're the easiest things to sell. Everyone's looking for cookies. Everyone wants scones for breakfast. And so we tried to start off with something that was easier to sell,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
we
yeah.
were good at. We weren't trying to sell things that we were not cake decorators. That was not going to be our journey. And so we were like, we're going to do something that we're good at and something that's a little more rustic. And so that really helped us a lot to be able to do that. Our ham and Gouda scones were really big. Our dark chocolate salted caramel cupcakes were really big. We had a special recipe for our chocolate chip cookies. And so just really things that just the regular everyday human who's throwing a birthday party, or, for Thanksgiving breakfast, they don't want to think about it. So they order some scones, just different things like that, that were really big sellers for us.
People like the familiar, right? It's
Absolutely.
people. Some people are daring, but people like the familiar. The holidays, you mentioned Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
must have been a crazy busy time. What was that like? Again, everyone has to remember, you're doing this out of your home kitchen,
Hmm.
so there's probably some limitations.
Yes.
Kids wait for breakfast. I'm a little busy right now, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So what is it like baking, at a volume level for
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, other holidays like that? And again, to come back to the family, because that's so important. How did you
Hmm.
manage that volume while also running a family?
Yeah, our first Thanksgiving, we really specialized in mini pies, which takes a lot of time when you're doing multiple types.
Yeah.
So I want to say for 3 days before Thanksgiving, we spent 14 hours in the kitchen each day on our feet. It was very exhausting and rewarding, but very exhausting. And I have two ovens, so that's a gift.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you've been running your ovens for 14 hours, at the end of the day, we're like, why aren't they not like cooking the same as they did earlier today? Because your ovens get tired. It's not a commercial kitchen. And so you also are, there's also a smaller area to work, right? I only have my island in a little spot on my countertops, whereas I don't have the racks that you do in a commercial kitchen or anything like that to be able to put your baked goods on. So it was cold, and we put a lot of stuff in the garage on a table to stay cool. So those are just the different types of things that you're looking at in a home bakery. And right, I do have my kids running around, and I have a dog. I have two dogs, and so we had to keep them in a totally different room, and we're constantly sweeping and cleaning up. And my kids ate out pretty much every meal during that time.
Did
There
they
was
get
no
involved?
excess.
Did your kids get involved ever as commies in the kitchen, sous chefs and such?
No, I was really nervous about the legality of that. We were
Yeah,
really careful about following the law. I'm a stickler for following rules. And so that was just something that I didn't want to push and have someone be like,
sure.
oh, I found XYZ in the cookie. And I have to be like, oh, yeah, that was my kid. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a perfect segue to I'd really like to talk about the reality of running a home bakery business.
Yeah.
Um, running a home-based food business, like I said earlier, it's a dream for a lot of people.
Hmm.
But there's also many thought leaders that chefs that have had unbelievable success come on the show. And I always want to point out that while we're having a great conversation and we talk about all the fun and all the rewarding stuff, we often don't see the sweat behind the scenes. We don't often
Hmm.
see how hard it was to get there. So I always want to acknowledge that um, because there are a lot of things behind the scenes that people just don't understand. We get questions about running home businesses all the time.
Hmm.
So my understanding is that Colorado specifically has cottage food laws that allow you to bake from home without a commercial kitchen.
Correct.
Can you walk us through? And I imagine there's some legalities around what type of foods,
Yep.
non-perishable, things like that. So can you
Yep.
walk us through what you had to go through to get started legally, and what were some of those high level requirements?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually met with somebody recently who's wanting to start their own micro bakery, cottage bakery.
Yeah.
And so I was able to talk her all the way through. You have to take a food safety course, and it's online, so it's very doable. And in the food safety course, you learn what things are possible, the pH levels that you need to have for certain things. You're not allowed to sell anything that has to be refrigerated, really. There's a lot of limitations to what you can do. You're only allowed to sell a certain number of products a year. So you could
Oh
sell
wow.
$10,000 worth of a chocolate chip cookie. And so you would think, oh, well, all cookies, all you can sell is $10,000. Well, there's a way, not around it, but you can sell $10,000 worth of chocolate chip cookies and $10,000 worth of chocolate chip cookies with walnuts. So as long as there is a real thing to change the recipe, you can sell an additional $10,000 worth. But it is different. There are limitations that you can do. So we did the food safety course, and the little things. We had to register our business name, make sure there was no other business like that. We had to get our EIN. We had to get like all of our taxes set up and decide if we were going to be an LLC or something besides that. We had to open up our own bank account. Please open your own bank account. Don't try to do it through your personal finances. Open your bank account and keep it separate. We did QuickBooks. We designed our own website. It's all of the behind the scenes work that you really want to do if you want to look like a professional business. We could have just done it out of our home and just taken orders through our phone, which we did when we first started, but we wanted to be a legitimate business that, QuickBooks takes the taxes for you so you don't have to worry about that and keeps track of all your expenses. And that was super helpful, but it also costs a lot of money.
Sure,
So,
sure.
yes, say yes. And also be aware that there's going to be some costs leading up. Oh, insurance. That was something that we didn't really think about to begin with. But if you're selling food to other people, especially if you're doing anything gluten free, highly recommend getting insurance so you're not liable through your own personal money to have to take care of all of that.
Yeah, I would. That's such great feedback, Jen. Can you? So with all that said, and there's probably more that you
Yeah.
that storage, deliver all
hmm
of that.
hmm
How big picture did all of those requirements impact your business? Did you find yourself pivoting much in the early? You had this vision. This is what we're going to do. Oh, we can't quite do that, right? Got to add
Yeah.
walnuts if you want to do another 10,000 cookies.
Right. Right.
How did you? And again, this is the psychological part, the part that our students really, have to understand.
hmm
Um, did you have to step back every once in a while, analyze the business in order to, stay honest and true to your mission? Or did you find yourself pivoting constantly to keep going?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is okay, here's how much the website costs, here's how much QuickBooks cost on all of that, which means we have to sell at least XYZ amount so
Yeah.
we can cover that before we can even make any money. And I think it's those costs that are overlooked sometimes that get you in the end. And you're like, oh, well, I started off really good with $150 worth of sales my very first month. And you're like, actually, most of that went to all of the behind the scenes stuff that no one sees. And so building in those monthly costs is really important when you're looking at goals for the month.
If you had to kind of outline, I hate to even go this route, but it's important, I think, for people that are listening. Of all of those paths
Mhm.
and criteria that you had to follow, what would you say was the most challenging to get the business up off the ground?
I think it was finding recipes that went with the cottage laws. Like we love to make cinnamon rolls. Well, there's only one specific type of cream cheese frosting, and they give you the recipe for it in the food class. But if you
Sure.
don't like that recipe, do you want to put that on the cinnamon rolls that you just spent all day long proofing and kneading and cutting and doing all the things? You don't want to ruin all of that hard work that you put into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finding a pie recipe that doesn't need to be refrigerated, just different things like that, I think was the hardest thing in feeling restricted in the types of things that we could make in our home kitchen.
Was there ever a point where you were thinking to yourself, "What did I get myself into, and how do I get out of it?"
So many times. I
Daily.
think honestly, the thing that was probably the hardest was the toll that it takes on your body when you're
Yeah.
standing for that long. And I know like probably all of your students have experienced that. You're spending, even if you spend 2 or 3 hours standing on the hard ground, I learned I needed to wear Crocs.
Yeah.
And that was not my favorite thing, but I do know they're very popular in kitchens. And so my husband bought them for me and he's like, this is going to help your hips.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's
So,
it's it's
we wore Crocs and we stood on the mats that are a little bit padded.
safety is important too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just things that you don't think about because you're like, I'm just at home and I'm comfortable. But it really does take a toll on your body, 100%.
So on the flip side, Jen, what are the moments that were the most rewarding, that really stand out, that make you light up like you're lighting up now?
For a big thing for me, I got to do it with my best friend. That was really big that I
That's
got to
awesome.
have a
Yeah.
partner in it and we had so much fun and we got to dream together. But really it was also we started off delivering food ourselves. So it was dropping off the food and seeing people get excited and hearing like, I loved this. This was so great for the birthday party. It just, everyone likes to hear that their stuff tastes good, right? That's not, that's a common thing, right? You want your stuff to taste good. And for people to love it and be repeat customers. So
Yeah.
not
And tell
just
others. And tell
and
others. Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Word of mouth was huge for us. And so for the success of the bakery, we really did rely on reviews and word of mouth. And that also changed what we did. We had a monthly flavor of the month that we did. We would do a macaron in that flavor, we would do a cupcake in that flavor, and we would do a cookie in that flavor, just to do something different and test out new recipes.
Did you do the who handled like the marketing, the website and all of that?
We both kind of split it evenly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of experience. I help. We both did it equally, which is really nice. But I love doing online stuff. I've built multiple websites, so I was a total nerd when it came
So
to
you're good with
that.
that. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
love that part. I would love that part. What about this is a tough question to put you on the
Okay.
spot. Um, for me, I'll give you an example. When I was, growing up in a food family, master
Hmm.
pastry chef father, restaurant, hotel, and all of that, I did everything I could, Jen, to not go into this industry. I thought I was going to be playing, you'll relate to this. I thought I was going to be playing center field for the Cubs. I did.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
silly
I
me.
was going to go to Juilliard.
Yep, yep.
Like
We were there. We were gonna knock it out, all of
yeah.
that. And you pivot and you do different things. But I
Hmm.
remember, I was done with college, I was done with culinary school, and I was still, is this it? There was an early issue of Food and Wine magazine. This is gonna make you laugh.
Okay, I'm ready.
It was all featured on Southwest Cuisine, which was really, really big in the 80s, really big. And Santa Fe, New Mexico was kind of a hotbed of that, Texas. And there was this one issue that was on the table at the house where it was like a cast iron plate and a bunch of herbs, sage and
Hmm.
rosemary, basil, all kind of tied together in a twine. I carried that cover, I ripped it off, and I carried that for years. It's the strangest story in the world. And this is a kid who spent summers working with my uncle, in Europe and in my dad's bakery, my mom and dad's bakery. But I got motivated by this one picture. And so I loved Southwest cuisine. That kind of defined my style for many years in my early years. I just loved it. I loved the spices and the flavor and the color and all of that.
Hmm.
And I'm curious for you, was there an inspiration? Was there
Hmm.
a person? Was there a book? Something that you ate one day when you were in, another part of the country that kind of motivated you to go down this path?
I can't think of anything earlier, but I went on a mission trip in Greece and I had a pastry there. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, this is the best pastry I have ever had in my whole life. And I was like, I want to go home and make this. And I didn't because it was a really hard pastry to make the more I looked into it.
Flaky. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
yes, it was very difficult and just lots of steps which you don't always have time to do at home with four kids. But that was like, you know what? I can also make something really good.
Yeah.
I that might not be my lane, but I do have another lane. And so it was really just a reminder of the joy that baked goods can bring to someone and have them be like, oh my gosh, that's like a treat that it just like the feel in your mouth, just everything is just a treat. And it was that moment that I was like, oh yeah, this is a passion of mine. This is something I'm excited about.
I love that. And our students will love hearing that because quite honestly, people doubt themselves. Sometimes they don't feel like passion's enough,
Sure.
but it can be. It can
Hmm.
be. You're a perfect example of that. So let's fast forward a little bit. I know a lot of what you do on a daily basis, but are you still baking at some capacity? Do you miss running the business, or are you the type of person where, hey, I set out to do something.
Hmm.
I think we did a really good job. We achieved what we looked to achieve. Mark, check the
Yeah.
box. I'm good.
Yeah. I do still bake. I really enjoy it. I probably bake a couple of times a week and just to give to friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Or bring to work. That's a really big thing is I will try something
Oh,
new and
yes.
bring it
Yeah.
to work. And we have someone there who's dairy free and another person who's gluten free. So those are really good challenges for me
Yeah.
to try and find a baked good that still tastes really good with those parameters. It was a really big bummer to stop the business, and that was actually a really hard decision. My partner left a year into it because of health reasons. And so I kept it going for a year after that. And it just wasn't the same to do it without my partner. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a lot more work. And like you said, I have four kids and they're older, which means they're all in a bunch of different activities. And so I don't have that same dedicated time that I would to run a website and to do the Instagram posts and the social media posts are, it's crazy.
That
Oh
alone.
my
Yeah.
gosh, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy. I told you I met with somebody recently who was wanting to start a micro bakery and I was like, she's not on Instagram. And
Yeah.
I was like, I highly, highly recommend
Oh,
that you do something on social media because that's how you're going to get your name shared.
that's what everybody goes to first, right off the bat.
Yeah,
Um, if a if someone came to you today, maybe a graduate from
sure.
our school and said, like the person that wants to open up the micro bakery,
Hmm.
want to start my own bakery or business from home, what's the number? And it's a hard question. What's the first thing? I ask a lot of guests this question.
Yeah,
What's the first thing? And people say everything from, do it for you first. Do the market
yeah,
research so that you're producing a product that's needed. Stay in your lane.
yeah,
The advice is all over the place, but
yeah.
what would that advice be from you?
Two words, do it.
Do
That's it. Just do
you
it.
work for Nike? Do you work for
We
Nike?
we do second guess ourselves and we do doubt ourselves. If you have the money to start the business, just do it. What are you going to lose? You have built into a dream that you're hoping to do. I've seen other people locally that have started micro bakeries, and I'm like, good for them. What a great thing that they have done. Just do it. Just say yes and do it.
I love it. I love it. You know what we should think about, as you were talking about that, I thought you've done, I think, at least one, maybe two classes here with
Yes.
Chef Dallas. We could do something kind of fun where we bring you in as a guest chef for, just for fun, right? And invite friends and family and stuff like that. That would be
I love it.
no pressure, no
Let's
pressure.
do it.
I'll film
Let's
it.
do it.
I'll film it. Um,
It'll be just a giant blooper reel.
yeah. Well, that's okay too, right? I have to come back to you said, and I would like to talk a little bit about, if you're okay with it. You mentioned that there's nothing a baked good can't fix,
Mm,
and I'm not a doctor, but I know that mental health is real
hmm
today. People struggle with a lot of different things, and
hmm
we try really hard to find that balance of
hmm
something that gives people joy, a reason to come to school every day. It could
Absolutely.
be, we do something, Jen, here called flipping the classroom. So traditional education is always come on in, I'm the teacher, here's the syllabus, here's how we're going to do it in order to get a grade. We even see it at Centaurus, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
We flip the classroom a little bit and we push out information for our students to review in advance, discuss amongst themselves, think about, and then when they come to class, our instructors, both online and on the ground, are encouraged rather than being super formal about classroom activities to let the students drive it. Let's start with
Mm,
questions. What questions do you have? What did you cook
hmm
yesterday? How did you apply the principles of what we're working on in your daily life? That sort of thing. And again, I I won't hold you accountable to any of this, but nothing there's nothing like a baked good that can
Mm,
fix things, right?
yeah.
Have you
Yep.
found in your life and your work through the church and with your friends that sometimes that's helped someone going through a tough time? Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Selfishly, so I'm bipolar. And so selfishly, it really helps me. I had said earlier, like I'm able to focus on that one thing in front of me and not have to worry about everything else that's going on. And so that's really important. But when you give someone a baked good, you have spent a lot of time on that baked good, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like a quick craft mac and cheese that's, super easy. You've spent the time measuring everything out. You've spent the time, making it look great and the time even just baking it and making sure you have the bake that you want. It all takes time. So you're truly giving your passion, your love, your effort to someone else that they get to then just be like, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. We used to pray every single time before we would start baking over the baked goods that we were
Oh,
doing. So, like we hope this blesses the person that we're giving it to. And that was just really important to us that it was more than just a cookie. This was a gift of peace. It was a gift of love, of time. So it really is more than just measuring the eggs and stirring it or kneading it or whatever. There really is so much time and effort and love put into it that you're then giving somebody else.
yeah, yeah. Passing it on. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Where do you? And not everyone will know, locally, but what's your go-to? Where do you like to go to get just that perfect baked good to get your day started?
Oh, there's a really great French bakery that's right across the street called Jeannot's. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but they're from France.
Oh, yes, they
It's
are. Yes, they are. Yeah,
so maybe you know them.
I
They
our
have
house is our house is so close. So
okay.
we're in Indian Peaks there. So
Oh yeah.
we walk.
You're right
Yeah,
there.
we're right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. What do you like there?
Their morning buns.
Oh God,
I love their morning buns and their almond croissants. They sell out of those by 10 o'clock every morning.
they
They never
do.
have enough. But those are my two favorite things. They're just so phenomenal. And it is nice to have something that is um like legit.
Yeah, he's. I'm going to give you another one. So he's from Paris. He's amazing. My dad, who's now 90, did this for the majority of his life. But he does this. It's kind of a flat sweet roll with raisins. He
Okay.
has it almost every morning. It's like you said. It's legit. It's
Yeah.
legit. Um, there is another. You know where St. Julian is in Boulder.
Yep.
So right across the street, it's a white stucco building. It used to be called Frank's Chop House.
Okay.
Well, about a year ago now, almost a year ago, one of our pastry chefs here from Escoffier, his name is Florian Tatar, and you can't even make that up. So his father actually has a bakery in, I think they're in Brittany, but his father has a bakery in France, and Florian worked for us here for 3 years while he figured out what he was going to do. Long story short, it's called Masonette. It's right across the street from St. Julian. It's legit.
Okay.
It's
I'm
legit.
down. I'm there.
We are so spoiled in Boulder. It's
It's true.
unbelievable
It's
how
true.
spoiled. So you can go east out to us, right, where we are,
Perfect.
and if you're in Boulder, you got to go to Masonette. It's absolutely fabulous. Um, Couple of more questions. You still have a little bit more
Great.
time? Yeah.
Great.
Why do you think you said the word joy, and it's just it's an important word, the joy of cooking, the joy of
Hmm.
life, the joy of love. Why do you believe, Jen, that um, a couple of years after closing your business, that it still brings you so much joy?
Hmm.
Why, after doing it professionally, is the concept of baking and giving someone something that you created still bring you so much joy?
That's a really great question. I know sometimes, especially with mental health, you can really bring yourself down
Yeah.
and just kind of sit in that, and then everything feels awful and the worst. And I really try and work with gratitude. And what am
Oh,
I grateful for every single day? There's this challenge that you every day you write down three things that you're grateful for. And even if it's just, I'm grateful I brushed my teeth today. I'm grateful that I had a cup of coffee. It can be something small, or I'm grateful that my husband and I went on a date tonight and we got to reconnect. It can be literally anything. And so that practice has really allowed me to see the positives in what I'm doing. Is it that way every day? No, I'm human. Some days I'm still like, oh, the world is so awful. Uh,
It's hard. It's hard
um,
at times, but
yeah.
food is love. Love is food.
Yes. Yep.
That leads us perfectly to we wrap up every episode of The Ultimate Dish with the same question. Now, the
Okay.
responses are always different. The question is, what is, in your mind, Jen, the ultimate dish? And
Ooh,
this could be an item. It could be a food memory. It could
okay.
be sitting around the table. We've had people in tears when they think about a food
Oh,
memory, and it's really, really,
yeah.
really beautiful. But yeah, what's the ultimate dish?
Oh gosh, that's hard. That's a
It
really hard
it
question.
is. It is. And this is not pass, no pass.
um, there's so many that I can think of that bring memories from like Christmas morning monkey bread or different
Oh, I
things
got
like
to chill.
that. Yeah.
That's good.
Right,
That's
that's a good one,
good.
right? But I think I have this really sweet memory of my husband and I were in Vegas and we went to a restaurant and we had this seafood paella. And it was so good. Like everything about it was amazing. And it was a date night. We were away from the kids. We got to go to a nice dinner and it was great drinks, great atmosphere, great company, and really, really great food.
It's the best part of that answer is that we've spent the last hour talking about sweets and cupcakes and cookies and scones, and you come out of left field with a paella,
With a paella.
which is I'm right there with you. One, if it's done, the best paella I ever had was in a village in Stockholm, literally a community on one of the islands. That paella pan was probably 30 by 30,
Oh my gosh.
and the entire neighborhood brought their items and put it on.
Yeah.
They had people doing the sauerkraut and the rice and stuff, but you brought your own items. Paella is family. Paella is
Yes.
is community. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
love. But great answer. You pulled that one out. That was the bottom of the ninth. Eli's
That's
going to be really, really proud of you on
He's
that
gonna be
one.
impressed. Yeah, very
He
much.
will be impressed. Well, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds
Yeah.
are not impressed by anything, but
No, I'm lucky if I
right,
can get
yeah.
him to say good morning.
Hey, Jen, this was so much fun. Unbelievable way to kick off our year with the ultimate dish. Thank you. And I am going to see you soon with Booster Club meetings and
That's
baseball.
right.
That's all getting on the way already. But thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to follow up to see if we can do a guest appearance uh, for
Great.
our home cook classes. It'll be fun, right?
Oh my gosh, it would be a blast. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for having me. This was so fun.
This was totally fun. And always, I'm going to leave you with work with gratitude.
Yep, that's right.
Love it. Say hey to everybody. We'll see ya. Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Dish Podcast, brought to you by Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Visit escoffier.edu/podcast to find any materials mentioned during the podcast, including notes, links, and other resources. And if you can, please leave us a rating on Apple or Spotify and subscribe to support our show. This helps us reach more aspiring individuals ready to take the next step toward their dream careers. Thanks for listening.